Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm presenting my work about location privacy. This is a joint work with my advisor, Yicheng Hu. My work focuses on the location privacy issue in a location-based social network, which is a kind of application that tags users or their posts with GPS location and allow other users to retrieve the post nearby by distance from the post to the courier. And the system will return the post to the users. There are a bunch of such applications in the world now, like Facebook, Tinder, Whisper, Yak. The 2 points we care about location privacy. So first, the abuse of location may hurt the user in physically and financially. For example, theft may locate the user and rob the user's home. The second, anonymous social network is not going to be very anonymous if the location is exposed, because the attacker may locate identify the user by their locations. So we focus on the vulnerability of the information leakage from the query response. The attacker can use such information to infer the user's location. For example, so some system allow the attacker to choose distance threshold as they want, and the attacker can use some binary search to learn the distance from a post to a courier, like the left figure shows. For example, the attacker can first have a query with distance of 3. If the attacker didn't see the post, then the attacker double the distance to 6. And then the attacker may see the post in the second query. And then the attacker can know the distance between the post and the query is between 3 and 6. And do so, then the attacker can use binary search to locate to learn the distance between the post and the courier. And then the attacker can use a triangulation, like the right figure shows, to locate the user. Some existing defense, like cross-grain distance threshold, can prevent attacker to use triangulation. In this defense, attacker can only use some specific distance threshold, so that they cannot learn the distance as the way I mentioned before. But attacker can use space partition attack to bypass the defense. By each query, the attacker can split the uncertainty region of the user into 2 partitions, and by the query response, the attacker can learn in which query the target post is located in. And thus, the attacker can use binary search again to locate the user by shrinking the uncertainty region. Then the user service provider can add the location noise into the query response. To discuss location noise, we introduce a response probability function. This is a probability that a system should return a post to a query based on the distance between the post to a query. For example, the left figure shows a system without location noise. For the distance less than the threshold D, the system always returns the post to the user. But for the distance larger than the threshold D, the system never returns the post to the user. And the right figure shows a system with some location noise. For example, when the distance is larger than the distance threshold, there's still some chance for the system to include the post in the query response. But intuitively, we can use many queries to cancel the noise, right? So people propose some faked GPS location, faked GPS detection, and the query rate limit to prevent attacker to make as many as queries they want. But this doesn't work. So because distributed attack can easily bypass this defense, the attacker can just create many accounts, and each account just issues a few queries to bypass this defense. Also, there's some faked account detection techniques, but it's only good for large number of accounts. So so it's hard to detect a small number of accounts, especially when the accounts are manually maintained by human beings. So if there's an attack, just require few queries, namely few accounts, then it can bypass existing defense. There's a previous attack called Randomness, which can bypass existing defense, but it only works for Gaussian noise. In this paper, we propose the entropy-minimization attack, which can not only bypass existing defense, but also it's generic, can apply to any kind of location noise. And moreover, it only requires 1/10 of the queries to achieve the same reduction of the privacy level. And later in the paper, we proposed randomness consistent defense, which to limit such attack. And these two parts are our main contributions in this paper. So first, I will introduce the entropy minimization attack. We calculate the location entropy based on the probability distribution of the victim's location. So the left figure is an example, shows that the victim is more likely in the center of the map. And the goal of the algorithm is to minimize the entropy so that the attacker can be more sure about the location of the victim. By each query, actually, the attacker can learn some information of the victim's location. And there's an information gain to decrease the entropy. So this example shows that after 4 queries, the probability distribution has some changes, and the entropy get lowered. So here's the workflow of the attack. So first, the attacker initializes the probability distribution by either flat distribution or some prior knowledge. And then the attacker make a query at some location X. Now the attacker can have a 2 possible response. The attacker can either see the target post in the response or not. And based on the response, the attacker updates the probability distribution according to a Bayes rule, and find the next optimal query location by minimizing the expected entropy of the victim's location in the next round. And the attacker just repeats these steps until the entropy is small enough and quit the loop. Here's an example of the attack evaluation. So we have an evaluation over the Gaussian noise. The Gaussian noise P6, and the right figure shows the privacy level on the y-axis and the number of rounds the attacker needs on the x-axis. We can see the attacker only requires 100 queries to locate the user into 30 meters. But the Randomness requires 1,400 queries to locate the user into 37 meters, as their paper described. So this means we have a 10 times improvement over the Randomness attack. So we even did some evaluation over some higher noise, like the P3. It also shows the effectiveness of the attack. We only require 500 queries to locate the user into 100 meters. So then I will introduce the defense with randomness consistency. The goal is quite intuitive. We want to limit the information gain from the queries. So first we did map quantization. We quantize the map into squares so that the attacker can at most learn the square of the user but don't know where the user it is inside the square. Then we have a consistent response, which means 2 queries from the same square will get exactly the same response. Thus, there's no more information leakage from the second query. For example, if there are query 1 in this square, And our system will calculate the response post set for the query 1 based on the response probability function. So if there's a query 2 in the same square, we are going to return the query 2 with the exactly same response of the query 1. So there's no information leaked from the query 2. Third, we proposed hierarchical subdivision, which can scale our defense to a large map without losing more information. So we hierarchically subdivide the map like the figure shows. There are multiple hierarchies in the maps. And for each hierarchy, we have a hierarchy square. And for example, if there are 2 queries from the same hierarchy square and some posts from another hierarchy square, then we calculate the response only based on the distance between the center of the hierarchy square instead of the distance between the query and the post. So that a query outside the hierarchy square can never learn the information of the location of a user inside a hierarchy square. We admit that we have some limitation. If a user is always staying in the same square, then the user may always miss some posts around it. But we have a solution to periodically update the consistent response so that we can trade some privacy for usability. There's more content about defense in this paper. We dealt with some consistent response for multi-post system, which is the system allows the user to do posts multiple times in the same place or different place. We also dealt with the multiple threshold system, which allow the attacker to make query with different threshold. And we did complexity analysis and scalability analysis. More importantly, we have usability and precision analysis, which is usually difficult in security work. Surprisingly, we found the usability is dominated by the word size, and the privacy is dominated by the square size, which means the service provider can easily tune the system by change the word size and the square size as they want. Finally, we provide a guide for how to tune the defense in the paper. Here's an example of the defense evaluation. The figure comes with a number of rounds at the x-axis and the privacy level at the y-axis. So for the attack, for the system without defense, the attack can lower the privacy level to almost 0 within 100 queries. But for the system with our defense, the attacker can never lower the query to 0, no matter how many queries it made, because we limit the information gain to the attacker. Yeah, let me conclude my talk. First, we proposed a potential attack which can bypass existing defense. It is generic attack, which can be applied to any location noise, and is more effective than existing attack. Second, we proposed the randomness consistent defense to limit such attack. It applied map quantization, response consistency, and hierarchical subdivision. The defense is scalable to a large map and a large location-based social network. That's my talk. Any questions?